Can the no excuses lady also have excuses? My name is Esther Jacobs. They call me the no excuses lady, and yes, I have to admit I have excuses sometimes as well. Most of the time I recognize them though, and I have a choice to either, stick with them and spend my energy on excuses, or to recognize them for what they are. Just excuses not to get to the point, not to get out of my comfort zone, not to do something that feels scary. I usually make the choice to recognize them for what they are, get them out of the way, and get on with what I want to do. But of course, I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't have a story to share that I'm almost too embarrassed to share. But I will do it anyway, because I hope it will help you guys. It's about my first book, What Is Your Excuse? It was published in Dutch in the Netherlands in 2009, so that's already a long time ago. And immediately I had it translated into English, so I think in 2010 it must have been finished. And all I needed to do was just to read through the book to make sure it's my voice and everything's okay. But I never did. And the book was just stuck in my computer for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And I'm afraid to say that in the end, I think it must have been like 6 years. It's not that I didn't want to publish my book in English. I wanted to, a lot of people ask me for it because it's a special story. It's like an autobiography about how I raised 16 million euros for charity without any experience, without a budget, without anything that normally would help you to do something like that. So that's an inspirational story. It's about my participation in Survivor, the reality TV show, and how I became a speaker. Basically, it's just a lot of things that I had excuses for and a lot of people have excuses for, and how I got rid of those excuses and achieved the results and the success that I wanted to achieve. So I really wanted to share this message. So why did I leave the translation of this book in my computer for 6 years? So last year I really got fed up with myself and I told myself, Esther, this is the time, do something. And I thought, okay, if I'm not going to read the book and edit the book, why don't I just publish it and ask other people to proofread it? So I did. I published the book as is and I asked other people to proofread it. And of course I got a list of edits that needed to be made. And I asked somebody else to make those edits because I couldn't put myself, to do it. So there's this book, proofread, edits made, and there were just the last few questions for me. And I left it in my computer again for like a complete year. And I didn't know why, but every time I thought about it, it felt like, I didn't want to do it. I had excuses and, I had other things to do, more important things to do, whatever. But I didn't understand why my hesitation was so strong. So a few months ago, I was in the entrepreneur house in Thailand for a month, and we were working together with location independent entrepreneurs. And there was one weekend of Focus 55 where we were going to spend 55 hours on one project. And I had lots of fun new projects I wanted to do, but I thought, why don't I dedicate this time and the support of the other people, the accountability, to the one project that I've been postponing for so long. The editing of the What Is Your Excuse book. So I sat down the first day, tried to find the files, couldn't find the files, and thought, okay, I'm not going to do it. But because I committed to it, I was going to do it. So I found the files, started making the last edits. And of course, I didn't stick to the edits, but I started reading the book. And I felt horrible. I felt something and I didn't know, what it was. It was such a deep feeling. And the whole day I felt like that. Every 10 minutes I had to stop and walk away to let this feeling sink, to let it go away again. And it came back every time. And at the end of the day, I knew what it was. I just felt like crying. I was reliving my story all over again, not being accepted by the charity world that I wanted to give all this money to, being stuck in all kinds of political games, being very naive and entering, you know, a world of charity where I thought people would have good intentions, and a lot of them did, but a lot of them unfortunately didn't. So by reading the book in English, in another voice, I relived my experiences and I relived my pain. And it was so hard and it was so painful, even thinking about it now, that I understood why all these years I didn't want to face it. But this day I went through all of this, and the next day it got easier, and by day 3 I had finished all the edits. So by now I've uploaded the book to Amazon and it's available, and because it took me so long to finish it, I'm going to give it away for free. So I hope the book What Is Your Excuse will help you to recognize your excuses for what they are. Just bumps in the road that prevent you from getting to where you want to be eventually. It's natural to have excuses. It's normal to have excuses. It's almost common to, you know, let you be stopped by your excuses. But if you really want to achieve something, if you want to go beyond, you have to force yourself to make that step to get rid of your excuses. And often it means biting the bullet. There's a book, it's called Eat That Frog, and it means the worst thing you have on your to-do list, you better do it in the morning. If you have to eat that ugly frog, you can look at it all day, ooh, 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 and feel horrible because you know you have to eat it. But also, you know, you could just eat it first thing in the morning, swallow, and get on with your day and get on with your life. So think about what's keeping you back most right now and just get it out of the way. No more excuses.